It's pretty incredible how political all of American life has become. I have a bevy of stories about this today. So, Coca-Cola has now decided that they are going to force their employees to take anti-racism training with the execrable Robin DiAngelo. Robin DiAngelo is the worst public intellectual in America. She's awful. She's a cult leader. If you read her book, her garbage book, White Fragility, the entire argument that she makes is that black people cannot take care of their own future, that white liberals like Robin DiAngelo have to take care of black people's future, that black people, by dint of being black, are systematically discriminated against, and that white people who fail to recognize this suffer from white fragility, the only solution to which is to listen to Robin DiAngelo and what she tells you. The only way that you can clear yourself of the racist drippings that have adhered to you is by taking a $20,000 diversity course from Robin DiAngelo. So Coca-Cola duly did this because this is what corporations do. Corporations are afraid of liability. They're afraid that someone will sue them for discrimination. And so they hire people like Robin DiAngelo to give them the cover to continue to do business. They feel like, okay, fine. So for 20 grand, now I can say when I'm sued by some upset employee that we gave everybody the anti-racism training. Okay, so Robin DiAngelo was doing this training, and we have some screen caps from this particular training. Here are some of the screen caps. Confronting racism, understanding what it means to be white, challenging what it means to be racist. Solid stuff here from Robin DiAngelo. Okay, to be less white. Okay, so here's how, right, we don't want you to be white. We want you to be less white. Which, okay, this isn't racist at all, by the way. To be less white is to be less oppressive, be less arrogant, be less certain, be less defensive, be less ignorant, be more humble, listen, believe, break with apathy, break with white solidarity. Now, we need to take a moment here to explain what exactly Robin DiAngelo is saying. Again, this is Coca-Cola employees being subjected to this overt racism. Because if you're white, this means that you're oppressive, arrogant, certain, defensive, ignorant, humble. You must, not humble. You need to listen and believe. You're apathetic, and you have white solidarity if you're white. So you need to be less white. I don't know how. Like, really, how are you less white? She doesn't mean that you color your skin, obviously. That's racist. Instead, what she means is that you have to be a person who listens to Robin DiAngelo. You are, by being a white person, oppressive. Unless you recognize that you're oppressive, in which case you're less white in some way. You're arrogant if you're white. You might think of yourself as not arrogant. Wrong. Because now you're engaging in defensiveness. Right? This is the stupid little game she plays, this perverse game. Right? She says, you're oppressive and you're arrogant and you're certain about all your stuff. You're like, well, no, I don't feel like I've oppressed anybody. And as far as arrogance, I mean, frankly, I kind of know what I'm good at and what I'm not good at, and I'm not good at a lot of things. And I'm not super certain, actually. In fact, I have a lot less certainty than Robin DiAngelo. So I kind of deny this stuff. And she goes, you're being defensive, right? If you fight back against her, now you're defensive, which means you're being white again. Stop that. You have to be less ignorant, right? Because you're ignorant because you're white. You say, well, no, I'm not ignorant. Actually, I know a lot of things. Nope. There you are, being defensive again. You need to be more humble, which I love that just to fill out this slide, she had be less arrogant and also be more humble, which is the same thing. You have to listen and believe. Listen and believe. Okay, by listen and believe, she means that if someone tells you that they feel that they have been subjected to some sort of predation by another person, you can't evaluate the evidence. You can't say, okay, well, I understand you feel that way. The feeling may be authentic, but what is the evidence to back whether the feeling is justified? Authentic and justified are two very different things. A lot of people feel things authentically that are not justified by the underlying fact pattern. This happens all the time. My kids feel authentically angry at me on a variety of bases. That does not mean that their feelings are justified. My son yesterday, it was time for him to go to bed. And my son decided that he did not want to go to bed. Right? And he was very angry at me because I said, we have to stop playing Legos. You need to go to bed. His feelings were authentic. They were not justified. It was time for him to go to bed. By the way, he was so upset at this that he then went and peed on the floor because this is what children do. Funny now, wasn't at the time. His feelings were authentic. Peeing on the floor was not justified. In any case, listen and believe is what Robin DiAngelo says. You must believe. You have to break with apathy. Because what she means by break with apathy is you just have to mirror everything she says, or you're apathetic. And finally, you have to break with white solidarity because you understand if you refuse to go along with what she's saying, this means that essentially you're a white solidarity supremacist. So let's say that you don't really want to listen to this racist, anti-racist training nonsense. Instead, you'd rather listen to music or, enjoy your life. That's when you would grab these, your Raycons, and you would pop them directly in your ears. They are fantastic. Raycon is disrupting the electronics industry by designing premium wireless audio for half the price without compromise. They're doing things differently than other brands out there, from the way they design their products to the way they price them. Raycon prioritizes their customer experience start to finish. Raycon offers their wireless earbuds in a range of fun colors and patterns with a variety of fit options, no dangling wires, no stems. The company was co-founded by Ray J. Celebrities like Snoop Dogg, Mike Tyson are obsessed with Raycons. Plus, I love them. Raycon has a 45-day free return policy. Raycon earbuds will give you 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and more compact design for a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. So, Raycon wireless earbuds are the best way to bring your favorite content with you wherever you go. I love my Raycons because view. They fit perfectly in these ears. So click the link in the description box or go to buyraycon.com/ShapiroYT to get 15% off your Raycon purchase. Again, that is buyraycon.com/ShapiroYT to get 15% off your Raycon purchase. Okay, then here's more from Robin DiAngelo training the unlucky suckers over at Coca-Cola. In the US and other Western nations, white people are socialized to feel that they are inherently superior because they are white. Research shows that by age 3 to 4, children understand that it is better to be white. Oh, is that what the research shows? Is it now? Interesting. Also, white people are socialized to feel they are inherently superior because they're white. Actually, no. The civil rights movement socialized us to believe that people should be treated as individuals. It is your educational training that makes white people feel that they are superior, because it is only white people who can solve the problems for black people. It's something Shelby Steele pointed out in his own book, White Guilt, which is that one of the beautiful things about being somebody like Robin DiAngelo is the only person who can solve the problem is white people. You still get to be superior if you're Robin DiAngelo. You still get paid $20,000 to fix America's racial problems because you're owning it, you see. And finally, try to be less white. Honestly, this should be like the 1984 Apple commercial. It's just Robin DiAngelo talking to you like Big Brother until somebody comes in with the logic hammer and flings it at the screen. Try to be less white. Okay, so Coca-Cola, a massive company, hired Robin DiAngelo to teach this crap to the people who work at Coca-Cola. Yes, your corporate overlords, they are willing to buy into this stuff. Now, question, why are they willing to buy into this stuff? The reason they are willing to buy into this stuff is for really 3 reasons. 1, the people who are buying into this stuff do so because they're afraid of boycott. And they're afraid really of publicity. They understand that if you are perceived as a liberal corporation, fewer people are going to come after you. Right? That is a rationale for doing this. There's a study, I've cited it before, from Harvard Business Review. It showed that if you put together a focus group of people from all different political sides of the aisle, and you ask them about a corporation, and you ask them about the corporation being formed in 3 different ways. 1, as a politically neutral corporation. 2, as a politically liberal corporation. And 3, as a conservative corporation, the crowd's reaction would be wildly different. If you just said, same corporation, it's neutral, people were like, okay, sounds good. If you said it was liberal, people were like, okay, sounds good. If you said it was conservative, the positivity ratings dropped by 33 percentage points, all among people who are lefty. Coca-Cola understands this. If they are perceived to be the lefty corporation, they understand that people on the right will still buy Coke, and people on the left will be more apt to buy Coke and less apt to go after them. So that is reason number 1. Reason number 2, it shields them from liability. And reason number 3, because most of the people who now run these corporate boards are people who are liberal, they have no systemic intellectual defense against the hard left. People who are liberal and innately believe in the guilt of the United States, but they also believe in certain individual rights. The problem is, if you believe in the innate guilt of the United States and the innate evil of the United States, it's very hard to also believe in the goodness and rightness of the individual rights upon which the United States is predicated. You can't both believe that America's ideas start in 1619 and that America's ideas start in 1776. These are mutually exclusive beliefs. So you got to pick. A lot of liberals are picking 1619 because it makes them feel better about themselves. Okay, so that's what's happening over at Coca-Cola. And this sort of stuff has infused so many different corporations. You see it obviously over at Disney. Right? Not only did Disney plus Lucasfilm decide to fire Gina Carano for no good reason, simply because she didn't go along with the woke left, but now they've decided to hit the Muppets with an offensive content label. Now, this was the most predictable thing in all the land. They announced that you'd be able to watch the Muppets on Disney Plus. I immediately tweeted out that within 3 weeks, The Swedish Chef would be canceled. Right? It's perfectly obvious. I was wrong. It didn't take 3 weeks. It took 3 days. Disney has now slapped The Muppet Show with an offensive content disclaimer. The Muppet Show. The warning also appears in front of Bambi. Well, not Bambi, rather. Bambi's okay because it's just about deer, right? Aristocat, Dumbo, Peter Pan, and of course, Swiss Family Robinson. All great movies, all apparently unmentionable. Hey, and then you've got Cartoon Network now pushing anti-racism. Okay, so you've got Robin DiAngelo not just teaching Coca-Cola, but mainstreamed into Cartoon Network. Now, it's one thing to get mad at the Muppets from 1987 for telling a joke that you now consider culturally insensitive 30 years later. It's another thing to get mad at Cartoon Network when Cartoon Network is literally just putting out PSAs mirroring for children, mirroring Robin DiAngelo's talking points on racism and indoctrinating kids into overtly racist garbage. Here's the Cartoon Network pushing what is obviously racism.
Well, I'm not an alien, but it definitely matters to me that I'm black.
Yeah, it makes a difference that I'm white. I know the two of us get treated very differently.
My experience with anti-black racism is really specific. Other people of color experience other forms of racism too, but you won't see any of that if you don't see color.
Can we get a rewrite where we appreciate each other without erasing what makes each of us different?
Okay, but it's gonna add a couple hours to the shoot.
I can
My
make it work.
speaker's open.
You were rolling just now, weren't you? Can't we just slap some graphics on this and call it a day?
See color, be anti-racist. Shut up, racist children. See color, be anti-racist. So, yes, we are all supposed to see each other as people of different colors whose experiences are completely non-understandable. I cannot understand your experience in any way. And because I can't understand your experience, this is the Robin DiAngelo stuff, I have to listen and believe. I can never try to assess whether your opinion on a matter is non-factually or evidentiarily based. Instead, I have to listen and believe because, you see, I see color. So I'm an anti-racist, which means I have to listen and believe whatever you say and presumably accept all of your policy recommendations as well in order to destroy the systems of power. This is being taught to children at Cartoon Network. To children. Yeah, you wonder why people feel like they are under assault? Because they are under assault. I hope you enjoyed that clip from The Ben Shapiro Show. If you did, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you stay up to date on all of our future content.